Fair use. Fair use.
I'm very confused about the Genius Act. I thought there was a deal made by the president to make sure that included was going to be the central bank digital currency. There'd be no possibility of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to cash, a cash society. And the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th and 2025 when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it, everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However, right now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire setup, groundwork, and entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government to take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night, and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest vote held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight because there was a deal made, and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something. That's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin, but it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government. And there will be no ban on a central bank digital currency. There will be no way to protect your ability to fully control your digital currency in the future. And I'm voting no to this today. I don't know if there'll be any other no votes on the Republican side, but I'm voting no to this because I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible and I believe what Revelations 13, 16 through 17 says, and I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach and the Apocrypha, chapter 39 and verse 1. And it reads, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." Shalom. Before I get started, I want to start off by saying Barak Atah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well, that have taught us the correct understanding of the scriptures through the Holy Spirit. Peace salutations to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the multitude scattered to the four corners of the earth. This is Brother Loyal with GMS Wisconsin. Lord willing, through the spirit of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, I can edify somebody out there. But you saw the video at the beginning of this lesson. It was a woman that's pretty much part of the U.S. House of Representatives. I believe she is a Republican. Her name is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she was one of I believe she was just like one of the only Republicans in Congress to vote no to an act that was just recently passed called the Genius Act. All right, because ultimately she knows what it entails. Okay. And there was something that caught my attention that she said in that video. She said it around the end of the video. She mentioned Revelation 13 and how this whole Genius Act, all right, this whole CBDC that's being passed in Congress, all right, which they said is something that the president wants, but which we understand, no, the elites want this. All right. Trump is just simply a puppet that was set up by the elites to do the will of the elites. OK, and the elites want him, all right, to push this chip, all right, to push this cashless society so that we go into a digital society. All right. So that we can go into central bank digital currency. OK, which is ultimately where the government has full autonomy, full control of your finances. All right. Of everything that you own. All right. But I read this precept, Sirach 39:1. Okay, I'm going to read it again. Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof. So a man that is giving his mind to the law, statutes, and commandments, what is written in the scriptures, and meditating upon those things, it says, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. All right, they're gonna read the testimonies. All right, and the visions that maybe the prophets had in the ancient world. But the most important part, all right, the reason I read this precept, it says, and be occupied in prophecies. Okay, and that's ultimately what we're doing now in these end times, man. We're occupied in prophecy, and that's what I'm gonna title this lesson: Be occupied in prophecy. All right, because most people, like she said, are completely obsessed with this whole Epstein thing. Not that, they're in the wrong for that. Okay, but ultimately it's all hogwash, man. Esau is controlling the scenes behind the scenes. Amalek is controlling all of this, man. All right, and those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear understand through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that it's all prophecy, man. And you know what? We're occupied in it. Okay. And what we're seeing is Esau Edom, okay, bringing the end of his kingdom, all right, before us. Okay, you're seeing the end of this kingdom come to fruition. All right, because what does it say in 2nd Ezra chapter 6? Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau was assigned a lot in prophecy, all right, and so was Jacob, okay? Esau was given the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above to rule this kingdom, all right? To be wicked in this kingdom. And guess what? He's the end of the world. He is a representation. He is synonymous with the end of Babylon the Great, which is the very last kingdom that was set up, okay, before the kingdom of heaven is set up forever. That's why it says Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It is representing the kingdom of heaven, because the kingdom of heaven is next, okay? But that woman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, mentioned Revelation 13. Okay, and this is what she was talking about. Okay, Revelation chapter 13, Salakia, and verse 16. Okay, and we have to be occupied in prophecy. We have to know how to go into these scriptures and warn the sheep and let them know, okay, this is what's coming upon the earth, while all of y'all are distracted, all right, with what's going on in what you would call, quote unquote, black culture. All right, well, what Fresh and Fit is talking about, all right, the whole thing with Epstein, okay, with this whole Diddy situation. Y'all are distracted with those things. You want to know why? Because Esau is using these things to keep your attention on him, man, so that you would be outraged, so you don't see that, so that you don't see what he's doing behind your back, man. Okay, and Esau passed, all right, that Genius Act July 17th. All right, and what most people don't realize is that their freedoms, all right, have been snatched from under their feet, man. All right. And he's not going to ask you if he can do this. He's doing it, all right, whether you want him to or not. Okay. And he's setting up, all right, his beast system, which is this fourth industrial revolution through digital technology by way of the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, starting in verse 15. And it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. He is talking about ultimately Esau Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the top banking families, because they have the rulership over the earth. All right. Their white supremacy, okay, calls the shots. All right, Esau controls technology. He controls the skies. He controls the waters. He controls land. Okay, he was given the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. Okay, and ultimately, America, okay, is the second leg of the Roman Empire. Okay, because the beast would represent the ancient Roman Empire, but the modern beast, okay, came back, all right, as the second leg of the Roman Empire through what? The EU, which is the European Union, and NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is where they control finances, all right, in which they control, all right, military affairs, okay, and that is how Esau is able to govern the earth. That is how he is able to maintain sovereignty, okay. So he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which is ultimately the New World Order through the EU and the NATO, okay. It says that the image of the beast should both speak, and you're seeing it speak now. All right, these things are coming to fruition. It's becoming abundantly clear, okay, what it is. It says, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Anybody that refuses to worship this, anybody that is a believer in the Bible, anybody that is coming up against Esau's system, okay, he's going to condemn. All right, and ultimately you will be unalived, man. We're coming into those times where this will be a completely totalitarian government, man. All right, where the government will have total control, okay, and they're about to gain total control through this system. All right, through this digital technology. Because if you don't have cash in your back pocket, you don't have the autonomy to just pull money out your pocket and make purchases. All right. You're not going to be able to make cash purchases that are untraceable. All right. That will be a thing of the past, man. And that's the times we're coming into. Verse 16, here's the point. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And you got to understand, this is prophecy right here. All right. John the Revelator, all right, on the Isle of Patmos, okay, when he was sentenced to a salt mine for treason against the Roman Empire, all right, the Heavenly Father Yahweh through Yahweh Shai, all right, sent an angel his way, okay, to give him these prophecies, all right, of the end times. And that's the times we're in now, the end of Esau's kingdom, the end of his world. And during the end of his world, he's going to push his digital technology. This is his beast system, man. All right, his new world order. Through his digital technology, through his fourth industrial revolution. It says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. That's everybody on the earth, man. Okay, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. But the main people who will be targeted for this will be the Israelites, man, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, and ultimately Israelites that may be scattered into the other nations. Okay, we were coming into the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. And that mark, okay, is the chip. All right. And the mark in the Greek is charagma. Let's grab it.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Charagma. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. Okay. It says of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-Hamashiach. But ultimately, we understand that there are many, all right, anti-Hamashiachs, okay? Those that, a lot of people who don't believe in the Bible, that ultimately represents Esau Edom, man, okay, and his beast system, okay? This whole system, okay, goes against the scriptures, okay? Let's go into the root word of charagma, okay?
Strong's G 5482. Charax.
Charax. It says a pale or stake, a palisade. And what is a palisade? That is something that is ultimately that pierces the skin, right? Okay. All right. It says a fence of wooden stakes or iron railings fixed in the ground, forming an enclosure or defense. Okay. That's what they look like. A palisade. All right. But the palisade that will be implemented through this mark will be that microchip. Okay. And they're going to use that needle to open your skin up and insert the microchip in your hand, man. Okay. And through the brain chip. All right. Which is ultimately Neuralink. Okay. That's the chip that will be used to be entered into the brain, man. Let's see what we have here. Let's just type in Mark of the Beast. Let's see what pops up. You know, I didn't put these on here, by the way. Why is that there? All right, because ultimately Esau knows what the mark of the beast is, man. These top banking families, they know that the scriptures are real. Look at this. Okay, I just read that scripture. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, Esau knows that the mark of the beast is the chip. How come you other camps don't know, man? Okay. Look at that. A miniaturized radio frequency barcode strip is injected under the skin. Okay. You will become a barcode, man. You will become a universal product code, meaning you will become property of the government. Okay. Even Esau knows what the MOTB is, man. All right, and this is what we have to be occupied. This is one of the main prophecies that are that's gonna come forth, man, in these end times. And guess what? Esau is telling on himself. And through this truth, through this ministry, through this gospel, okay, we're exposing the wicked and their plans that they have, okay, to push this system. All right, and to force it upon the earth, man. Psalm chapter 64 and verse 5, it says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And see, July 17th, while everybody was distracted with with the Epstein situation, okay, they passed this law. They passed this act, man. Okay. And guess what? Congress didn't have the authority to legislate this. All right. They had to either vote. They had to vote for it, man. Okay. You had to either vote yes. And a lot of times they're being forced to do it. Okay. That's Esau encouraging himself in an evil matter. All right. That's him communing of laying snares. He's setting traps in secret. He's doing it behind your back, man. All right, pretty much totally dismantling the entire American government system. All right, and doing a great reset. Okay, verse 6, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, because Esau in the scriptures, it says the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. Okay, so they search out iniquities. Okay, they use all the wisdom that they have on the left hand side to search things out, man. All right. And they have completely done their studies and their research. All right. To put together this MOTB. OK, this rice grain of a chip. OK, that will become the new currency, man. All right. All of your currency, all of your medical information, your ability to lock and unlock your doors. All right. Being tracked, being followed. All right. Facial recognition, all of that, all these things will be part of this system, man. And the MOTB, the chip, okay, will have to be will be inserted in the body, all right, for those who are destined to receive it. Okay. But it says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, because Esau is a deep thinker. The Lord gave him wisdom on the left hand side, man. Okay, verse 7, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. And that's going to happen through those thermonuclear missiles. All right, when those intercontinental ballistic missiles enter this atmosphere, it's going to destroy this place, man. But here's the main point, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Okay. So they're telling on themselves, and that's what you heard that woman saying in the video, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She told on herself, man. She's telling on her people. She's telling you this is totally unfair, all right, and it's something that I don't want my children to have to be subjected to. She's really worried about her children, all right, which is understandable. But at the end of the day, you know, this is wicked, man. Okay. Because they're creating a totalitarian system where you will be under full control of the government. You won't have any privacy. You won't have any autonomy. You won't have any sovereignty, man. You won't be able to own land unless the government knows about it. Okay? everything is being brought to the surface. Okay? And the wicked are being revealed. It's the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. And it reads, and then shall that wicked be revealed. And that's happening through this truth, through this ministry, by the way of the prophets. The wicked represents Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the top banking families. He says you're going to be revealed, meaning uncovered, brought to the surface. It says whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And that's ultimately through the Holy Spirit by way of the prophets. The spirit of the Lord's mouth is the prophets, man. All right. Starting here at Great Millstone, starting with Apostle Tahar on down through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the Lord is consuming Esau. He's exposing him. All right. Doesn't it say, I have made Esau bare? All right. I have uncovered his secret places. And Jeremiah 49, well, the Lord is consuming Esau, Edom with the spirit of his mouth, man, through the prophets. It says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which is going to happen through the thermonuclear missiles. And ultimately the chariots, those which they call UFOs, man. Yahushua and the angels are going to come back on chariots and invade the earth. Verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders through his technology, all right, through his influence, okay, through his satellite systems that he got in the sky. He wants to try to play God, man. Okay, and through this beast system, he's going to try to control the world. He's going to try to enslave the world, man. Most importantly, the Israelites. All right, and y'all have to be made aware of this stuff. That's why being occupied in prophecy is important. And we're going to end it off with Luke 12 and 2. This is red letter. This is Yahushua speaking. It says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Everything that is done in the dark will come to the light, as they say in the world, man. Everything done in the dark will come to the light. Okay? But ultimately, a lot of worldly comments, a lot of worldly quotes you may hear people say usually come out the scriptures, man. But there is nothing that is covered up that won't be revealed, brought to the surface. Neither hid that shall not be known. Meaning the world is going to know about this. And we're going to know about all of this in the kingdom eventually. Verse 3. Therefore, whatsoever you have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light. And that which ye have spoken in the ear and closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. And that's ultimately through this ministry by way of the prophets. When we go out on the highways and byways, and when we put these videos up on through these internet epistles, man. Okay, we're exposing Esau and his wickedness and bringing it to the surface and showing the world why it's important to know this stuff, man. Okay, because it's prophecy. All right, and this is ultimately the end of his kingdom being made manifest, man. But I'm going to leave it there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushai, B'Hashem, R'chakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you hopeful elect out there.